interesting news. Here it is. I am out at MSNBC. Now, whose decision was this? Well, it was both of our decisions. I will explain, okay? In turn, not at the same time. So when I first came into MSNBC, they told me, hey, listen, basically the main thing you got to do is get good ratings. I was like, okay, that's pretty clear. And by the time that I had left, I had very good ratings, as I'm about to show you in a little bit. But I was called in a couple of weeks ago and told that I will not get the 6 o'clock shot. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. I said, okay, well, why, right? Well, they said, you had really good ratings. You did everything that we asked you to do, but we went in a different direction. But we want you to stay, which is nice of them. And they said, we want you to have a different role. And they offered, honestly, a lot of money for that different role. I said no. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you why I said no and why I think they didn't want to go for 6 o'clock. So here's the interesting story. After I was told that, hey, listen, you mainly it's the ratings, right? One of the producers on one of the shows pulled me aside as a friend and gave me a little talking to, which was interesting. He said, look, Cenk, there are two audiences, right? He said, there's the audience that you're trying to appeal to, that's the viewers, and there's the audience that is management, okay? And management is kind of like the club. And they want to make sure that you're cool and that, basically you can play ball to be in the club. And I thought, hey, listen, the guy's trying to look out for me. I appreciate it. Is that really true? Who knows, right? Hey, it's something to note, no question about it, right? But we'll see how it develops. Okay. Then I started getting notes every once in a while, and these notes were no big deal, perfectly fine. They would tell you, don't use your arms so much. Look at that, I'm just using the arms, right? Okay, why? Who knows? Act more like a senator. Why? Why would I act like a senator? Senators are incredibly boring. Why would I do that? But okay, I'm trying, hey, it's a different format, right? Online, I get to do, it's my show, I do whatever I like. We have a great audience, etc. But it's a different format. They're, in that respect, my bosses, so I listen to them, right? And then we get a number of enormous news events. And for those of you who don't know, those big news events wind up helping CNN. So when Egypt revolution happens, everybody turns to CNN. Libya, Japan, Osama bin Laden getting shot and killed. All those are what they call CNN stories, right? And so now the show is not named. We have all these 4 storms that we got to get beyond. And then I'm doing this and this, okay, and I got the tie. But, so we had some up and down numbers in February and March, for example, right? And then I started doing it more my style. And then the numbers went up. You're about to see that in a second. Okay? And I just love this comment on YouTube. I'm sorry, I forgot who said it. But they said, looking at Cenk on the Young Turks is like watching a tiger in the wild, right? Seeing him on TV is like watching that same tiger in a zoo. And I love you for saying that. It's a little true, especially when I was actually trying to listen to their advice. Now, I stopped listening to their advice in April. Why? Well, this is the TV moment, or movie moment. I got pulled in, and they told me, hey, listen, we were just, or it was actually one specific person, the head of MSNBC. He said, I was just in Washington, and people in Washington tell me that they're concerned about your tone. I was like, whoa, what? Despite all the things that I've said about the mainstream media, I still viewed that as kind of like theoretical. Like a real person, are they really going to say that? I was like, and I'm naively thinking, what does he mean? Did he talk to his friend Bob in Washington? Why would you say people in Washington if you meant, oh yeah, I was talking to my buddy down at the shop about you. It just happened to be that he was a person in Washington. You wouldn't frame it that way, right? But I'm still thinking that. And then he gives me the second part of the speech. Hey, listen, Cenk, outsiders are cool. And they wear, I think he might have said something like, they wear leather jackets, they ride bikes. I think I'm an outsider, I don't ride a bike. But I have a terrible leather jacket. Anyway, he said, I'd love to be an outsider. Outsiders are cool. But we're not. We're insiders. We are the establishment. And I just kind of sat back. I was like, wow, this is it. This is the speech. So he said, look, you got to tone it down. And then he had me talk to one of their top contributors who explained, hey, listen, just take it easy, you're a little tough on the guests, and, tone issues, and let's have more Republicans on, which was an interesting thing. By the way, I have no problems with that, because I'm not going to have a Republican on and play patty cakes with them. Whenever I had Republicans on, I challenged them, and I enjoyed that. So no problems with that. So I get that speech, and when I walked out of the office, I didn't say anything to him when I heard it. And when I walked out of the office, I thought, oh, that's it. Now it's on. Okay, I will not be doing that. I will be doing the opposite. So then I started letting that tiger run a little bit, right? And we did it more my style. Whether it was stylistically, more some of the segments were more unscripted. At the end, they were totally unscripted, right? Which I enjoy, like we're doing right now. Because you get to tell a story that way. I'm going to come back to that point in a second. But substantively, it was always challenging the government and challenging those that are in power. And obviously, that was the issue, right? And I continue to do that going forward as well. And so what happened? Well, my ratings improved dramatically. April was good. May was great. Let me show you the May numbers. These are all from internal MSNBC emails, okay? Adults 25 to 54, I got 164,000. That was a 19 share. Delivered the strongest adults 25 and total viewer audiences since the launch of the show, okay? Now, you got to understand the demo talk here on television, right? Adults 25 to 54 is what they call the money demo. That's where they want, that's what the advertisers judge you on. That's where you got to do well. So April, check. May, even better. Great. Well, how about the whole quarter? Because that gives you a better sense of it. So if you say, oh, well, he did well this week or he didn't do well that week, yeah, that's not really much of an indication. But a whole quarter, 3 months, April, May, and June. Well, fantastic. Look at those numbers. Adults 25 to 54, 154,000 overall, 18 share. Now that includes April, and we picked up in May and June. But even then, overall, ranked number 2 in total viewers overall in the quarter. Beat CNN. And MSNBC Live at 6, that's me, up from last year and last quarter. So why is it important that it's up from last year? Well, they were incredibly satisfied with Ed Schultz, as they should have been. He did a great job, and he brought up the numbers. I did better than last year's numbers, okay? So if you beat the guy that they said, hey, was the guy who got the position before you, they should be very happy with that. And it's not to say that I beat Ed, it's just we improved on the numbers, so that's fantastic, right? And if you beat the hell out of CNN, that's fantastic. In June, it's even better. Okay, now look at this. This was the week right before they told me the decision, okay? 174,000 in the demo, 19 share. Beat CNN by 51,000 in the demo. Now that's when they're saying, yeah, we're not that interested. How can you not be interested if you only care about the numbers? That doesn't make any sense, right? If you think that's bad, you see what we had up on that earlier graphic? I beat Fox in adults 18 to 34. That's a younger audience, obviously. I don't know how many MSNBC shows beat Fox. In fact, when I went on MSNBC, I did an article with Alternate, and I said that I would beat Fox in the ratings and make them fear me. And I remember some conservative websites, oh yeah, well, you can't beat Fox in the ratings. Fox is way ahead. That's why, you see the number 2 numbers. That means you beat CNN and you beat everybody else, right? Well, I caught him in a demo. Right after I caught him in a demo and was number 1 there, they called me and said, no thanks. Okay, now, obviously I was puzzled by that, right? But I do know that the speech I got 3 months ago. So I asked, I said, hey, listen, did I not do everything you asked me to? And he said, yes, you did. I said, did I not get good ratings? He said, you did. I said, so what's up? We think that there's a better role for you. And it's not in 6 o'clock. Okay, I'm like, great. When do I start at 7 o'clock? And that is not how it went down. So they offered me a smaller role, contributor, et cetera, et cetera. And again, maybe to their credit, they offered me a lot of money. So why did I turn it down? Look, when they gave me the speech, I thought, look, they're trying to they're trying to bring me in, but they're not. I said, maybe they are. Maybe they're going to act on it, but I don't care. I'm not going to do that. There's no way that I am going to control the content of the show and tone it down so that people in Washington are happy. Not going to do it. I promised you guys. You remember before I went into MSNBC, I promised the Young Turks audience that I would never do that, right? So, but at the time you think, are they really going to make a decision based on that? I don't know. We'll find out. Well, when your ratings are good and they say you did everything you were supposed to do and then you don't get the show, it leads me to believe that that might have been the reason. So I didn't want to work at a place that, you know, wouldn't let me do my kind of show, that wasn't interested in my kind of show, didn't want to challenge power. In fact, isn't that what I've been railing against the whole time on the Young Turks? And look, part of the reason that I made the decision, and look, come on, keep it real. There's a lot of factors, right? You get all that money thrown at you. And let me tell you something else that's really important. It's the perks. And it's funny because I said the same thing before I went in. God, they give you car rides to the airport. They give you fancy hotels. You know that when you fly business class, not only do you get warm chocolate chip cookies, but your bags come out first. And you're like, ah, suckers. All right, everybody wait. I'm going first, right? It's great to have your bags come out first. You get used to it, right? And that's how they suck you in. As a general principle, I don't mean MSNBC in particular. And so I thought and I said, look, the deciding factor for me was I had to tell you this story because I'm holding on to the story that, you know, I've been talking about the whole time on the Young Turks about how the problem with the mainstream media is they're desperate to get access. They don't challenge the government. They don't challenge power. And now you see that that is in fact true. When they give you the speech, you're not sure that it's true. When they act upon the speech, then you're sure it's true. Then I got to tell you that if I take the money and I get a reduced role and I just, you know, do whatever I do with it, and maybe I even rise up in the ranks again, what's the point, man? The point of this show was truth-telling. That's what we're supposed to do. And we're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media. So I stuck to that. And I hope I made the right decision. And that is exactly what we'll do on the Young Turks going forward. And you could still tell them,
tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez, I'm coming.
More than ever, I'm coming. All right, Steve-O looks like he's got a question for me.
Yes. Can you speak about the money that you turned down? I mean, it's not like you got a reduction in salary. I mean, they offered you more than you were currently making for a smaller role.
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting point.
It's like kind of like hush money to just shut you up and keep you off the primetime airwaves.
Yeah, I don't know about that part, right? And I don't want to speculate on that. But, you know, and we didn't talk about this before, but yeah, you know, I just always say it's a lot of money. I don't want to say how much. But Steve makes an interesting point. It was double the amount of money I was receiving for a much smaller role. You know, there could be different reasons for that, or it could be like, hey, come on, play ball, play ball. Okay, we got to keep you got a good progressive brand. We need that progressive brand, et cetera. Now, look, I want to make something else clear, and this is really important. This does not impugn any of the other hosts. Why? Why? Because I'm not just saying that because I like them, et cetera, et cetera. Because in real life, the power structures are different for every person, right? There is no, and here's something else I want to clarify, right? MSNBC is not Fox News Channel, okay? People are going to say, oh, they're all the same, and they're going to be a false equivalency. No. There was never a memo as there was at Fox News that we saw from Bill Salmon and Moody, et cetera, saying, all right, here's what we want you to say, here's what we don't want you to say, here are the words that we want you to use. Remember, at Fox News Channel, they tell their news anchors, don't say healthcare program, say Obamacare. Don't call it the public option, that polls well. Call it the government option, okay? They take polling from Republican organizations and then make their news anchors say it. That did not happen at MSNBC. Now, what happened was not great either. Now, the second distinction is between management and the host. For example, Rachel Maddow has done such a great job of achieving strong independence there. And you do that if you're a smart person like Rachel by slowly accruing power until you can say, hey, listen, this is the way I'm going to do it, and you get good enough ratings that they just can't pull the trigger, right? And so, for example, general cable news ideology is you do a really short intro and then you get to the guests, right? Rachel said, no, I'm going to do a long intro because I want to tell a story. I love that, and she's absolutely right, and it's worked for her, and she's #1 on the station. Right? But she broke some of the rules, and she did it in a smart way, and she got a great audience for it. And this speech that they had with me, I'm not sure that they've had with any other host. Why? You know, it depends on the circumstances, right? But I've never gotten an indication from the other hosts that they had that speech. So you got to keep it real, and you got to understand why. And why is it easier to have that speech with me? Well, all the other hosts have contracts already, and management has already said, we like these guys, that's why we hired them, and hence, our reputation is tied to them to some degree, right? But if you don't have the permanent contract yet, then they could put more pressure on you to get you to play ball. And remember, I am by far the most the hardest on the Obama administration. Doesn't mean the other hosts aren't hard on him at times when he deserves it, but I'm clearly the hardest on the Obama administration. And so I've got the least amount of power, and I'm the toughest on Washington, if you will. And not just the Obama administration, but all of Washington. And, I said on the air, I think most politicians are corrupt. And I remember my guest was like, what? How can you say that? These are honorable gentlemen. I am not going to do a show where I pretend most of the politicians in Washington are honorable gentlemen. Hell no, right? So, and look, Ed Schultz is a bull, and sometimes he gets in trouble for it, right? But he charges hard. And Dylan Ratigan, I'm shocked that he's still on there. It's a minor miracle, and thank God, because that guy is, whether you agree with him or don't agree with him, he definitely tells the truth. And he is nonpartisan. He goes after both parties without any fear. So bless his heart. So they've got some great hosts at MSNBC. So don't hold it against those folks. I'm just telling you the particular story that happened to me, why I was uncomfortable with it, why I decided not to go in that direction. And, oh, by the way, look, and by the way, as a matter of like, oh, my principal, yada, yada. And some people have said very nice things. Some people have said very bad things, et cetera, in the press. But understand, too, that, as we do this segment, what would Jesus do? Morality is a shifting thing, right? So I was able to take that tough stance. Why? For the same reason that I was able to get on MSNBC in the first place. You guys. Because I have the TYT Army behind me. I got a show that's sitting here at 500 million views, up to 1 million views a day. So, and that's because of you guys. So I can come back here and do exactly the kind of show I want to do and kick ass and give you the actual truth and take it to power. And let them know they're not coming for me, I'm coming for them. And that's because of you guys. And the first time I got the MSNBC job was because of you guys. You wrote in the letters and the emails, et cetera, et cetera. And I can't thank you enough for that. It was an unbelievable experience, an eye-opening experience, and it confirmed what we had always suspected. Power is very, very strong and tends to have some degree of influence in our media. But here at the Young Turks, we're going to fight back against that.